Most underwater scooters are not capable of running faster than 3 knots. But new designs are coming and people ask, can we swim faster than that? Can we swim at 5, 6, 8 knots? The question is, are we prepared for that? Is our scuba equipment good enough to handle those speeds? Good Monday, amphinauts and DPV enthusiasts. This is Marek Swoboda with Amphi Americas, and today we'll be talking about high-speed swimming. Specifically, are we prepared for that? Is our equipment capable of handling those high speeds? And in this episode, we focused on 2 items of our equipment. The first item will be the regulator, right? So how the regulator will be affected by those high speeds. Another item, our scuba mask. What happened to our scuba mask when we swim with speeds between 3 up to 8 knots? Let's take a look. In our micro study, we will focus on 2 phenomena which are created by this stream of water hitting our head. One phenomenon is the force which is exerted on different parts of our head and equipment by a moving stream of water. So this force equals density of water times area of the object times velocity squared. Another phenomenon is a dynamic increase of a pressure which is caused by this stream of water coming at us. So we will use this equation to calculate this pressure. Sometimes it's called a pitot pressure, the pressure which is created by a perpendicular stream of water hitting an object. So this pressure is density of water times velocity squared divided by 2. So we will see how those 2 phenomena influence our equipment, and we will also talk only about 2 pieces of equipment, the mask and the regulator. Because it's a very short study, we had to focus on a couple of aspects only. We decided to choose 2 head positions. One, a vertical position, which we call the position A, where the swimmer is facing this stream coming from this direction. And the second position, where the swimmer is facing down and the stream of water is hitting the mask from the top. For those 2 positions, A and B, we calculated certain values, certain parameters. So first of all, we established what would be the force for different masks pushing the mask against your face due to this stream of water. Second question for this position A would be, how much additional pressure are we going to get on the regulator from this stream of water? For the position B, the question was, what is the terminal velocity, so to speak? And by terminal velocity, we mean that this is the velocity of movement at which your mask will be removed from your face due to this force acting on it. The force we described by this equation. For this study, I grabbed 4 masks I could find in my house, and they are not special masks, nothing special about them, just plain vanilla equipment people use for scuba diving or snorkeling or free diving. But they are different. They have different geometries. As you can see here, certain masks have a pretty large surface area here. They are pretty thick. And other ones, like this one for example, are very thin, very low surface area here. If you compare this versus this, you will see it clearly. So not all masks are the same. And of course it doesn't matter when you swim at 1 knot or 2 knots, and you wouldn't even notice the difference. But when you go beyond 5, 6 knots, you will see that those masks will behave different. So actually I grabbed 3 scuba diving masks / snorkeling masks and 1 monofinic mask, which is this one. The difference between those two is the ergonomy. So this one is very nicely made. It fits your face like a glove, and it's very hard to move on your face. It's not as comfortable as those masks, but it's much more stable, and you see that the profile is very low and streamlined. When you have flat perpendicular surfaces in those masks, you don't have anything like that in here. Removing this mask by a water stream will be extremely difficult. So let's see how the numbers look like. So how I measured the masks for those 2 cases is I just grabbed a ruler and measured the geometry of the top and calculated the surface area. Yeah? So I measured it like this and like that, calculated the surface area here, and then I tried to do the same for this area, the frontal area of the mask, to get some numbers for our calculations of the force which is exerted on your face when you face the stream. Then we performed a very simple experiment using a luggage scale, like this one. We strapped this luggage scale to the mask using a Velcro and a string, and then we pulled this mask down to the moment when the top of the mask crossed my eyes. I tried to do it in the same way, same speed, and then we measured the maximum force. As you can see here, this can indicate the maximum force which was used to remove the mask from my face. And this experiment actually gave me a bruise on my nose. So this is my sacrifice for science in today's episode. So you will see the experiment, and then we will discuss the numbers. And of course we got a little helper who took the numbers and calculated the results for us.
So how was it?
I wouldn't repeat it. It was good. At least we know the numbers. When we plugged the numbers which indicated how much force you need to remove the face mask into this equation, we were able to calculate the velocity at which the force was high enough to remove the mask. And from that we calculated the terminal velocity for configuration B. And for configuration A, we just calculated the force which is exerted on the mask at 3 knots, and we calculated the pitot pressure, which is an additional pressure you get on your regulator when the stream hits the membrane of your regulator here. So let's start with the masks. So mask 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're gonna give you a pretty substantial but still reasonable force when you swim at 3 knots and you face the stream. So for mask number 1, we got 6 pounds, mask number 2, 4 pounds, mask number 3, almost 5 pounds, and mask number 4, less than 4 pounds. So you see that the mask number 4 is monofinic mask. This is pretty low profile, tiny mask, and nicely profiled, streamlined. So it gets us the lowest force, but the big masks with large surface areas, they can exert a force up to 6 pounds when you swim at 3 knots. Configuration B. You see terminal velocities. So certain masks can be removed from your face when you swim at a little bit less than 5 knots. Mask number 2 was removed at 7.85 knots. Mask number 3 was removed at 6.17 knots. And mask number 4, the monofinic mask, we think can withstand velocities greater than 10 knots. So not all masks are really good for a very fast, very quick underwater scooters. The Seabop, for example, would be too much for all those masks, because Seabop can go as fast as 8 knots. And as you watch Seabop commercials, you will notice that the models, they never used a regular scuba mask. They usually use goggles, and that's the reason for it. A regular mask can be removed from the face when you run at 8 knots. How about the pressure on the regulator? So for configuration A and speeds at 3 knots, the pitot pressure, the additional pressure we're going to get on the regulator, will be around 12 centimeters of water, which is not horrible. It's an additional resistance to our breathing, but manageable. For situation B, we did not list those pitot pressures because if your head is down and your regulator's membrane is parallel to the stream, you don't have any pitot pressure. But let's consider the situation when you want to release this pressure acting on your mask because you feel that your mask is about to be removed from your face, and you want to change your head position to a vertical position at those terminal speeds. What would happen? Well, the pitot pressure for those velocities will be between 50 to 60 centimeters of water. It is really not manageable. No human being can breathe against this pressure for a long period of time. It will be possible for a minute tops, but you cannot sustain this situation. So again, for high speeds, the position of the regulator will be very important. So it's better to have a good mask and stay head down rather than face the stream with your regulator. I hope it was helpful. We've learned that not all masks are the same in terms of the speed which is needed to remove it from your face. And also we've learned how to test our masks to calculate the terminal speed for this particular model. If you like this video, please give us a like, visit our Facebook page, visit our website to see how Amphi differs from other underwater scooters. And of course, see you next Monday.